Today I'm going to show you exactly how we saved a $7 million wholesale company over 10 hours a day using AI agents. This business was drowning in phone calls. Where is my order? Has it shipped yet? When will it arrive? But instead of paying a human to answer over 200 of these phone calls per day, we paid an AI to do this. This AI doesn't just talk. It pulls live order data, explains delays, and handles frustrated customers without a human ever lifting a finger. In this video, I'm going to show you real recordings of this AI in action. Second, how it's built on the back end, and also how much money this company has actually saved, and how you can do the same for your business in 2026. If you are new to the channel, then welcome. My name's Liam. We've helped small businesses all the way up to 8-figure companies to use AI the right way and see these crazy results. If you feel like your business isn't benefiting enough from the AI wave, then make sure to book a free AI consultation call using the first link in the description. The first 3 calls are completely free, so I hope to see you in there, and now let's dive into the live demo.
Hey, this is Kate. How can I help you today?
Yeah, hey, my name's Liam. I just wanted to check on my order. Was wondering when it might arrive.
Hi, Liam. I can help with that. Could you please read your invoice number to me?
Yeah, where can I
It
find that
should look
again?
You can find your invoice number on the paperwork or email confirmation
Okay.
you received from your fabric.
Gotcha. Okay, well that's fine.
No
Let me
problem.
quickly go and check. One sec.
Sure, Liam. Take your time. Just let me know when you have your invoice
Yeah, I got
number
it.
handy.
I got it. It's
Thanks, Liam. So that's... Did I get that right?
yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Let me quickly check on that. Thanks, Liam. Your order is on its way from Kernersville and is expected to arrive at your address on August 26th. If you need to check anything else, just let me know.
Okay, great. Well, that's good. I'll wait for the order then. Thank you. Bye bye. Great. So how cool was that, right? It sounds so human, and it's actually able to use workflows and tools like I have on my screen right now to actually look in the system and retrieve order details based on an order number. Right, so it actually does useful stuff, which is pretty cool. Not to mention it's available 24/7. It's pretty cool, right? And it doesn't, like, genuinely, there's no more wait time with these things. It can handle up to 1,000 calls at once. So yeah, all this wait time and customer service is basically solved to a very large portion now with these agents. I won't bore you with the workflows right now. Later down the line in the video, I can show you more on how this actually works. But for now, I think you're more curious about the results. So how much money does this actually save? So over here, we have a dashboard. So what happens when somebody has a call, finishes and hangs up? We send the phone number through. Once again, this is just a fake phone number, right? I can't leak any actual data here. Then the date, then when it happened, and also the category of which type of call this is, which is quite cool. And as you can see, the order details here make up 32% of all the calls. Right, so the AI that I just showed you before, also here, it can do a lot more. I can link the video to the full AI over here. But this part, this order details, is actually a very significant part of the calls they get, along with people asking about specific products, general questions, and so on. So you can also, of course, click on these, right? And then you'll get a summary, which is pretty cool. So you get a summary of what happened on the call. You can actually listen back to it as well with the recording. And you can also see the hours saved and the money saved through this call. Because AI is actually quite a lot cheaper than a human, even though it runs 24/7, which is great, right? So not only do your customers get better service, but you actually make a ton of money. Now, how much money? I'm going to show you. Quick disclaimer, this is a 12-month prediction. So this is what would happen every single year. And this is obviously not the exact numbers that this client saved to protect their data, but it's very close, all right? So these are accurate numbers, but just not the exact numbers for privacy reasons. So over here, you can see that we have saved 12,000 hours this year, made closing in on 200,000 phone calls. All right, it's around 600 calls a day. And as I said in the intro, it's about 200 calls a day, 32% is about the order details. So we spent $33,000 on the AI, which is just the usage cost that it needs to run. And in return, it saved us. I get surprised every time I see this. It's awesome. Low 6 figures, which is pretty cool, right? Just in human labor savings. This doesn't even account for the fact that it can take orders 24/7 and all that. You actually make more money with this as well, naturally, but just the human labor savings, because you don't have to pay someone to sit there anymore, and especially when you get large amounts of phone calls, you will have a call center team, right? You will have a lot of people answering the phone. Yeah, this is cracked. This is pretty much as cracked as it gets. And this is really cool to see. I think the data is always the most interesting part to evaluate. Now, I'm going to give you a brief overview of how this works, and then I'll get more technical. If this is already more interesting than anything else I can show you, make sure to book a call and see how we can do this for your company. But if you're curious to how this works, let me just share with you a very brief drawing on the workflows behind this. Great, so the way this works is we have an AI over here, and this AI usually is just in a little box, right? Like ChatGPT. You can text it, it'll reply. Now this is cool, but actually we can do a few other things. So first of all, how do we get this into your phone? Right, let's say you speak, right? Speech, this is you, into a phone, right? First we have a model which basically transcribe it. It's called a speech to text model, speech to text. So now we turn your speech into text. Now we send this text into an AI like ChatGPT, for example. The model that we used for this is actually 4.1. It's quite good for these voice call interactions. So that's basically now we've gotten your speech into text, which now the AI can understand. So if you say, "Where's my order?" this AI will now say, "I don't know, let me check," right? And then it will write a response, right? It'll write text, which we then send into a text to speech model. Now what this is basically, this is the voice that you hear. And there's tons of different providers for this. You can use, I'll show you the softwares that we use in a moment, like the inbuilt models, or there's other ones from 11 Labs. There's huge amounts of models to choose from. And you can basically choose your accent. Is this a guy or a girl? Is this, do they speak different languages as well? And then that, of course, gets sent back into the phone to you, right? This is speech now. This is actually something you can listen to. And all of this takes maybe about 1 second, right? Maybe 1.1, 1.2, depending on how complex it is, but which is pretty cool, right? So within a second, you can actually start speaking to it like a normal human. Now, the cool part here happens when you give this AI features and tools and workflows to use. This is what I'll show you in a second, but these workflows here are tools that the AI can trigger and use at its will, basically. And it's important also to know that we don't just give this AI full system access, right? We only give it access to a specific workflow, which goes take a specific order number, check the system in a controlled environment, and then retrieve that order number and send it back into the AI to say, yep, it's on its way, no, it's delayed, and then some descriptions why, for example. So the AI itself isn't actually doing that much. It's only maintaining the conversation and choosing, do I check for the order details? Do I process a refund? Like, what do I actually do? And depending on that, it just triggers different workflows in the background, which will then in return actually take and perform these actions in the real world, right? This is how we can get something from your phone all the way into your system. And it's also very, very secure, because the only thing that can happen is that the AI misunderstands the order number and it checks the wrong one. And this workflow just says, I can't find that order number, right? Like, it can't actually break stuff, which is really, really important to say. So this is, in a nutshell, how these AI agents work. And the software stack is also interesting. We use VAPI for the voice agent, for the actual AI, and N8N for the workflows. And yeah, once again, next part will be a little more technical. If that doesn't interest you, it's probably at the end for the video for you right now. Thanks for watching, but for those who are actually interested, I can show you the workflows and the behind the scenes of the prompts and all that as well. All right, so here we are in the first software called VAPI. VAPI is an AI voice agent builder, and as you can see, we have an assistant set up down here called Customer Support Agent. Interesting thing here is you can see it costs about 12 cents per minute to run with a latency of 1.1 seconds. And the voice that we've chosen for this one is VAPI's inbuilt voice, Kylie. There's a huge amount to choose from, like a huge amount. What's also interesting is that you can train the transcriber. This is the speech to text model over here. You can actually give that specific words. In this case, it was specific product names that it should understand. And by putting them in here, you can actually make sure that the AI is able to understand your specific terminology. In the model, as you can see, we've chosen 4.1 as the brain. And in here, this is the system prompt. I'll walk you through this, and I'll briefly explain the workflows as well. But basically, one thing I love to say at the beginning is you don't know or can't help with anything except what's defined in this prompt and the tool calls. This way we basically tell the AI you are stupid and you don't know anything except for what's here. And that reduces hallucinations by a lot, like by a huge amount. By the way, in case you're wondering, once we think this is done, we test this about 20 hours per language. So if you've built something in 2 languages, you call it, you sit there on the phone for 40 hours and you just call it and try to break it. So after that, they're pretty robust. Great, so we give it a role telling it you're Kate, a receptionist for this company, which I've blurred out. Context, you work here, this is the current time, so it actually knows what time it is. Just some general info about the business, opening hours, and so on. And then there's the agent roles. So there's a few things in here which is quite cool. A lot of this wasn't demoed in this video. Once again, you can check out the video I linked before. Things like answering questions, you can tell it to transfer to a live agent, booking appointments, sending photos, all of that. But here, providing order details is the one that you just saw. So if a customer asks for order details, always ask, could you please read your invoice number back to me? It should look something like this. And then you give it an example, right? And then, you basically make sure that you repeat this back to the customer. After the customer confirms the order number, you are allowed to use the tool order details. And what then happens is this AI extracts from the conversation the order detail, and it sends that over here into the N8N workflow. And basically over here, we have a filter checking which tool did the AI use. Did it send a photo? Does it want to check for specific items? Or did it use the order details tool? In our case, it went down here. I can't open this up, of course, because that would leak some data I'm not allowed to show. But basically, this module goes into the custom inbuilt software from this company, and then retrieves if that slab and if this order number, if it finds a match. And if it finds a match, this will return some details about, is it available, is it not available? And if it's not available, it'll go up here, right? Where we format this and then send it back. If it is available, then we will also format the answer and send it back into the AI. So from this point, this is basically sent back into our conversation here with Vappy, and then Vappy is able to say, yep, that's available, it's going to arrive on XYZ date. And that's pretty much the flow for this. Now, it might look super simple, and I'm happy if it does actually, because that means I've done my job well. It's just very specific wordings usually in prompts like this, which you just learn over time. You know, how to, for example, spell the numbers, or things like putting gaps between the numbers so it says it correctly, and so on. But in effect, this is the gist of the AI. This is the gist of the workflows, and how an AI like this is set up, which is, I love this stuff. I love it to bits. And you can really do a lot, as you can see. There's no real limits to this except for what you can come up with. Of course, there's some limits that you learn over time, like you also wouldn't want to overload this. If you wanted the AI to use maybe double the amount of tools, we might need to build like an AI infrastructure, which means that you don't just have one, but you basically have 2 of these next to each other, right? So you have basically 2 like this, for example, and then you would have one AI above that managing these 2. Right, so it can get quite complex, but I think the basic principles should hopefully be clear after watching this. So yeah, hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something, and I'll see you next time.